So, 65-70 million years ago, when Therizinosaurus roamed the earth, it might have had it might have had something like what I'm doing right now. So this isn't supposed to be keratinose or some hard tissue. This, what I'm doing right now, should supposed to be some type of soft tissue, like the chicken have these soft tissue like combs. So this could have been our Therizinosaurus as well, and it might have been brightly colored, might had some type of serrations all over it, over the edges, and it could have been and the ultimate reason and use for it might have been different as well, alright, so I missed this a little bit. No. So this is especially this, nobody can disprove this, what I'm doing right now, especially because of the fact that there isn't actual skull of Therizinosaurus that's been found, as far as I'm aware of. So you can say, well, the other Therizinosauridae family skulls do not have any in this, that they might have had any crests or whatever on top of their heads, but that's not. It's just the Therizinosaurus one hasn't been found, and it's simply hard to be 100% certain that it was or it wasn't. So like this, or so there you go. A Therizinosaurus. Alright, so was just trying to illustrate a point. I'm going to hold on. No, I'm sorry. We need to go to undo history, show undo selector, and go back in time. We do not have to go back 65 million years, but a couple minutes back will do. So this is good, but we'll stick with a more conservative image of Therizinosaurus that we have this time around. Alright, so I'm just spinning the model a little bit. I'm just trying to figure out, just need to hide this undo selector so that it doesn't mess my workflow up. Oh no, not that. So alright, we need to turn on our symmetry. There it is. He sold tortillas on the corner, and then a mob wandered in. So let me just try and hide the rest of the head. Alright, so this is it. Should be a little bit easier for me to work on these details when the rest of the mesh is hidden. Let's hide this as well. Alright. Little tortilla boy. A little fooling around. Doesn't hurt. No! Get down! Get down! Get down again! Pablo Francisco. don't. Oh no, you don't. Okay. zbrush, where are you? Show yourself. So yeah, uh, I was discussing Terminator Genesis yesterday with my buddy, and yeah, just sort of refreshed my memory on that movie-going experience and how sucky this sequel is. And what I realized as well is that I'll probably sort of James Cameron sort of fallen like down a little bit in my eyes, because I saw this trailer thing where James Cameron is sitting in a chair and talking about Terminator Genesis and sort of comparing it with first two sequels and like saying if you guys love those, you'll love this one even better or something like that. Basically, very 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 sort of he lied to the audience and to the fans of the franchise. He lied to these people, to everybody, to me, and that was not very nice. And I mean, I'm aware, it's all money, like, but I mean, come on, totally. Okay, so I just saw the message in the chat. Oh, real. Hi, man. Thanks for dropping a line. Yeah, to answer your question, this is being done with a vacuum Cintiq. It's a display tablet, and yeah, I have a vacuum pen, and you just basically sculpt and detail and draw on your screen. So yeah, it's a digital type of thing. What was I saying? Yeah, Terminator and how James Cameron betrayed us all. So I'm not sure what the deal is, whether, I mean, James Cameron sort of, invented Terminator, and he's pretty obviously and probably like having his share of money or whatever this new Terminator makes. So it is in his interest to, this movie sells well, and but the way he did it, like just blatantly lied, that the movie is like great and you're gonna love it. Sort of, if you loved the first two, it's just and nobody can persuade me like for a second that he thinks that this movie is good, because he doesn't. If he's seen it, he doesn't think it's a good movie, because yeah, sometimes I'm getting lost for words when I'm speaking about these things. It's just when something is so messed up that it's hard for you to come come by any word or something meaningful to say. Especially in my case, since I'm not I'm not originally coming from English speaking area, so yeah, Terminator just so messed up, so confusing, so like the film is packed with action sequences, and it's hard to describe how boring for me those action sequences were. It's just they should be congratulated, like, for achieving something new, creating action sequences that are boring, that they're not engaging whatsoever, at least again in my case. And so all this effort, all these all this money that was put into creating this movie, and somehow it doesn't work. And it's not the computer graphics, it's not the photography, the camera work, it's just writing. The plot doesn't make sense whatsoever. I mean, the Terminator franchise from the very beginning suffered from these plot holes and this time continuum thing, and things of that nature, but they managed to ruin it on a whole other level. So yeah, ultimately I enjoyed some of the scenes with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and everything else was just plain bad. And to anyone that is trying to maybe what's the word? To anyone out there that is trying to maybe forgive, or maybe try and downplay how bad this movie is, the Metacritic score tells a lot, and Rotten Tomatoes, and websites like these, when people are in consensus, and a movie gets a 25 or something score, you cannot fool yourself. It's like, it's plain bad. Sorry. So yeah, the sort of my conclusion related to these movies that are being done on a high production, and a lot of money is spent into creating these movies, and they end up silly and ridiculous, and they end up bad, being bad and superficial and just bad. Like, Hollywood needs to up its game on the in the writing department. because that's the obviously the the place where all these movies are suffering. So you know what? I'm thinking to myself. I do not remember right now. When is the last time that I've seen a movie? Went to a theater and seen a movie where I genuinely cared for a character, and I just have a hard time remembering when's the last time that I had those feelings for any character in the movie. Alright, so we're trying to make some creases and some foldings around the dinosaur's eye. Alright. Oh, hey man. Hey, how are you? How are you, DBZ TV new man? So yeah, do I call you? Do I call you Alan, or do I call you DVZ? DVZ or TV new or DTV? I'm not sure. Sort of. What do you prefer? I was just thinking to myself, like, what happened to my audio crew? Come on, guys, where are you at? All right, Alan. That's great. Oh, kitchen! What you doing in kitchen, boy? There's some nice cooking there. So let's hope the cat is not so nasty, and the chef will recover in a timely manner, sort of by the end of the day or something like that. uh, yeah, kitchen. I have a love and hate relationship with the kitchen. I love to eat. I love what comes from the kitchen, but sometimes I find myself in the kitchen, and the sink happens to be like filled with dirty dishes and stuff like that, and sometimes like maybe my wife makes me a smoothie, like fruit stuff mixed in, and I come in and sort of wash my jar, and sometimes my wife happens to be all right. Okay. So sometimes it happens like my wife happens to be in the kitchen as well, and she's like looking onto me like I'm washing this one jar that I dirtied up, and I noticed this, and sort of she's looking at me like significantly, like sort of I can read her. I can read this look, like sort of. Okay, so are you planning to wash maybe something else beside your little jar, little jar boy? And then I proceed and take carefully take another jar or a plate or something and start cleaning, washing it, and I can see she's like sort of happy, sort of I can see the happiness in radiating from her eyes, and I proceed and take another one and another one, and she like just flies off like a fairy from Peter Pan. I'm not sure, Thumbelina or whatever the name is, sipping the fairy dust all over the place. Joy, oh what a joy, I decided to wash the dishes. That's, yeah, so sometimes you just have to do the dirty work and make your lady happy, or your man, or whoever you're with. So it's all good, it's all good. So I don't know if you guys have seen a Flight of the Conchords series, but that stuff is hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it, because there are only two like seasons, and each season has, I think, no, I'm not sure if I'll say it. If I'll be even close. I think around 10-ish episodes per season, really not sure, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's about two guys, and they're like roommates, and they came from New Zealand to, I think, New York, and they're trying to sort of make a career in singing, and they have this manager guy, and it's ridiculous. Like it ripped me apart. There's some really funny episodes there, and it sort of has a musical touch to it, because they every now and again during the episodes they they sing, you know, about these situations they find themselves in, and really funny stuff. And I was when I started looking like watching these series, I was disappointed when I, you know, realized that there are only 2 seasons, and I literally, you know, finished with the last season, last episode, and realized, oh, okay, so this is it. There's no more. What? Like, so are they making new episodes, new seasons? And basically they stopped for whatever reason, and whatever reason it was bad because I love it. Flight of the Conchords, really good stuff. Jermaine and Brent, or something like that. Ridiculous guys. These guys were ridiculously funny. Alright, so this detailing thing, and you know, trying to get these surfaces, you know, to begin look like something organic, something natural. This dance between over sculpting it, under sculpting it, you know, doing too much, doing too little, finding the right, you know, balance. Yeah, you can get lost relatively easily. So you may notice when I'm like sculpting in these creases, you may notice that I'm, you know, like 1 minute I sculpted this crease, another minute I'm, you know, going over it with my smooth brush and, you know, deleting the thing. And this is it. This is, you know, this is this thing that I'm talking about, where you have to constantly like, you know, try and find a right direction, you know, in these small steps and small increments, and then you do something, and then, you know, you pull away and look at it from different angles, and, you know, thinking about it. So these are all good creative methods and processes that, you know, you should go through when you're creating, you know, whether it be dinosaur, creature, whatever you're, you know, modeling. There's a funny meme, I think I mentioned it. I'm gonna show it to you guys. Hold on. Just a sec, I need to. Just a sec, trying to. Oh yeah, this, I think. This is the one. Oh, bam, it's so small. Why is it so small? Just a sec. I'm going to show it anyway. Loading. Oh, okay. So This is the memo I was talking about. Basically, this is true. I mean, it's funny, but it's true. Like time spent working on a 3D model, and there's a pie chart here, and so we can see like the red is nonsensically spinning and moving around the model, and blue is actually working on the model. And, so this is true, and anybody that's that had modeled anything and had been doing modeling will recognize himself in this funny meme. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to our nonsensical spinning of our models. Let me just quickly uncover the model. So yeah, this, like, I'm not sure whether I like this because there are too many folds, too many small creases. So if we take a look at this, this is a lot simpler surface right here. If you can see where my pointer is at, like there are no creases and things. Like there is some this creasing, skin creasing over the eye, and basically that's it. Again, this is a pelican, and Therizinosaurus was, a animal that was like, I don't know, 8 or how many tons, heavy, and about 10 meters or whatever in length. So it's relatively hard, on the other hand, to compare, some of these skin features in the animal that's like so small, and the one that is like behemoth, like really gargantuan compared to pelican. Oh no, that's not. just trying to bring down these creases a little bit. Okay, so I think this is maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I think so. Okay, let me just quickly save this, and I'll have to jump away from my computer for a second. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. He is back. Trying to get my voice together. He is back. Oh my god, I'm joking. So he is back. He is back.
might be wondering, where was he in the first place? He paid a visit to the kitchen, opened up a refrigerator, and just a second, thinking. I'm not so fast, guys. Come on, it's my CPU. It's slow. Oh my god, I need to update. Oh! He pulled out two mysterious objects from the fridge and put them in his mouth. Then he paid a visit to the bathroom, and then he came back. Oh my god, what did they put in his mouth? Oh my god!
Alright, so okay, I need to take a little bit of a drink.
To wash away that mysterious objects from his mouth. Oh my god. Alright. Better. He feels better.
This is cool, actually. I could address myself as he, like talk to me in the third person or whatever person that is.
Like he is using ZBrush, and he is not too happy with what he achieved in this session, but given enough time, he will become happy.
Get the hell out of here, you movie preview guy. You're not going to take away my privilege. This is my gig. Get the hell out of here. ZBrush is mine. It belongs to me. Alright guys. Really, okay, I'm sorry if I'm putting you through a lot of stress with this these mental picnics of mine. I'm not sure. Alright, so let's get serious for a little bit.
Serious is good.
Alright. So I'm looking at this pelican and thinking about how cool would it be to be pelican. Oh, to eat fish, all the fish you can have, boy. Alright, so let's try and get some creasing around this nostril here. creasing. What the hell? Hey, what? Hmm. Well, welcome to the Nether Realm. Okay, this is weird. Like, why doesn't it like go away? Oh, all right. So if I turn the model this way, I can go like however close I want. And if I and if I turn the model this way, the model disappears. Imagine if you if you do this 3 times, like in ZBrush, like this. If this happens to you 3 times, like the effect is irreversible, and you summon Pinhead and the crew from Clive Baker's Hellraiser, and sort of like Lemarchand's cube, or whatever the name is of the artifact, man, what the hell, artifact, yeah, that characters in the movie used and unknowingly invited Pinhead and the guys. That was nasty. I remember seeing a first sequel of Hellraisers when I was a kid, and I was like I had a deadly fear from that movie. I remember I was really little. I think, I mean, really little. Like I was maybe 8 years old or something like that. I was really chicken shit kid. Like my sister, when there was like dark and night, and wherever like needed to be, like wherever I had to go, if it was dark I was afraid, so my sister was walking me, and she was younger than me, like 1 year younger, and she would go with me because I was afraid of the dark. And yeah, so I remember seeing this Hellraiser thing, and I was lying in the bed with my mom, and she was also watching the movie, and she realized I'm like really afraid of this movie. I was sweating, I was like, sort of shaking and covering my eyes and stuff, and she sort of like told me you shouldn't be like watching it, and so we were in this bed that, and the TV is in front, and she turned me upside down, like my head was where her feet were, so I couldn't like watch the movie, and the bedside was closed, so I couldn't see it. And after a couple minutes, she realized I was like leaning over and doing all kinds of acrobatics to see and glance over the movie. So she invited me back, and so I sort of kept looking at the movie. But whenever the music would start to sound weird, or whenever some shit would, was bound to happen, I would cover up my ears with my shoulders, and I would cover up my eyes with my hands, or cover up my head with the blanket, and sort of waited for the confirmation from my mom that the shit is gone and I can continue watching the horror movie. So that was funny. And I remember having similar episodes with Nightmare on Elm Street. I was so afraid of Freddy Krueger, and also the It from Stephen King, the clown, the Pennywise. I was afraid of that one as well. Yeah, it was. And the funny thing is that I loved to I loved horrors, but just couldn't handle them when I was younger. So yeah, that's funny. And like you'd think, so okay, so now I'm grown up and now I'm not afraid of these things, because I know it's artificial, it's being created, it's like acting and movies, whatever. And maybe that's the truth in the case of movies, but I was talking about this in one of the previous streams. There are video games that scare the shit out of me, and I'm not sure if you guys heard about Fatal Frame. This is one game that I played with my friend, and we played it with on PlayStation 2, I think. We were in our 20s, early 20s, I think, when we played it. And I remember like being scared of that game, crazy, like ridiculous. It's like the two of us, and we were like, we were trying to give each other the joypad, the controller, and you play. No, I'm just going to look at the game. You play. No, it's okay. I played it like yesterday. It's your turn. And we would have like hard time, figuring out who is going to play and who is going to watch, because nobody wanted to, play this game because it was ridiculously scary. And we didn't want to like play it during the daytime. We always like wanted to, improve the effect of the game by playing it, around midnight, or even later, like 1, 2, 3 in the morning or whatever. So. So you think like I'm grown up, and this bullshit cannot frighten me, and it's like you'd be wrong, because and especially now in the wake of virtual headsets and these marvelous gadgets that are about to hit the stores and become consumable. The level of immersion in games is going to jump like insanely. And I'm looking forward to that moment. So yeah, there's that. Just imagine playing some sort of video game where the goal is to survive. Maybe, I'm not sure. Go from point A to point B, and just being able to survive. And you're like, you're wearing this headset and some virtual controllers and stuff like that, and you're walking inside of one of those platforms where you can move freely in all directions, and you have this what is the name, the harness, and you're tied into this platform, and so you're like walking through this jungle, and there it's filled like with dinosaurs, and you have to survive, and the graphics and everything is the experience is so real that you're really literally being scared for your life, or maybe not for your life, but being very, very anxious and tense and whatever. So these things are going to be fun. I remember from before, when I was like playing some of these games, and some of the grown-ups and people who aren't interested in games or movies, and they would be like, yeah, I like these too, but you'll get over it. Just you wait and see. When you're a little bit older, when when you maybe have kids, or when the life starts to happen to you, you'll stop playing these things. And I don't think so. I think I'll never cease to enjoy digital worlds, and whatever is related to these games and things like that. I'm not sure. I think I'm never going to stop liking this world. Right, so I'm just trying to slowly, the accent on slowly, maybe a little bit too slow. I'm trying to work out the skin detailing on our Therizinosaurus dinosaur here, and at the same time I'm trying to deviate from usual methods, usual solutions for something like that. I'm trying to maybe make something a little bit different from what I usually do. This can this can this can end up as a fail, or maybe as a win, but we'll see. I'm not afraid, to I'm sorry, guys. I'm not afraid to, sacrifice some time and, risk a little bit to maybe get something, interesting and maybe better. Well, we'll see. The time will tell, for sure. I need to take another sip of acqua minerale. I apologize for all these, little noises that I may be producing while I'm drinking, or I'm trying to wet my lips or my mouth, or all the raspy voice that are coming out from my throat, or whatever. I know it can maybe become sometimes, like annoying or something like that. I know I'm being annoyed by these voices by myself when I'm, analyzing my stream sometimes, and sometimes I get a little bit annoyed when I'm talking with my friends with Skype, and the guy's like chewing on something on the other side, and I would just, sometimes I would just like to smack him in the head with something, just choke on it, like stop it. Mute the mic, god damn it. So yeah, but I'm learning. I'm far from being a professional streamer, or if there is such a thing. I guess there is. Well, doing the best I can to give you this experience of ZBrush modeling dinosaurs. There is the open broadcast software that I'm using to stream to Twitch has some like there are some settings under the audio where you can sort of set the threshold for microphone, like the upper and lower threshold for mic to mute or automatically mute or pick up noise or whatever, something. And I sort of tried it, but it didn't make any sense to me according to the graph that was there. But I might spend a little bit more time with that feature. Maybe I'll be able to sort of get my microphone to pick up only only my voice, only when I'm talking, not walking, only when I'm talking. So when I'm like maybe gulping, like wetting my lips, or doing all these ridiculous mammalian noises, maybe it will like enable me to maybe it'll be able to block and filter these like background noises and small noises that won't come through to the stream or something. Not sure. I'll have to play a little bit with this thing. So I'm trying to break up this surface a little bit and not, maybe overdo it. So I'm trying to, sculpt in some facial features that are really good. Lack of words, I'm sorry. Not sure. Okay, also I'm thinking about this brow here. I'm not sure whether our Therizinosaurus here should have this, like sort of angry-ish appearance. Not every dinosaur has to be angry, come on. Maybe we can fill in this spot and make it look a little bit more relaxed. Relax. 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 I'm not even trying. We Arnold's voice. Alright, so let me see. So we're trying to make our Therizinosaurus look cool. Okay, so for the moment I'm using a symmetry feature to work on the beak, but you know, later when I really like decide on detailing, and when you know I start closing in on the final version, I'm going to disable symmetry around, especially around the middle, around the center of the model, so to avoid, you know, any obvious symmetrical details you know, around the middle. I'm not going to do that at this particular moment. Disable symmetry. So that'll come later, a bit later. Right now I'm more concerned with getting, you know, getting these like bigger details, bigger shapes to look acceptable. You know, before starting applying, you know, smaller scales and smaller details. So these things that I'm trying to do here, they sort of represent a some sort of keratinose flaking, because this bit of beak is sort of like this keratinose material, just like the birds have their beaks. And so I'm trying to lay down provisional, like, you know, areas where where these flakes could like possibly appear. I'm going to put myself to sleep. This is just so powerful. You know, people going to doctors having trouble sleeping. That's bullshit. You need to get yourself ZBrush and you will see. Stop medicating yourself. Stop doing drugs. Pills. Stop doctor prescriptions. Oh, yeah. Just work in ZBrush for 3 hours consecutively and you'll be good to dive your head into pillow, especially if it's hot. Nope. So bit by bit, sort of details start to emerge. The Therizinosaurus is starting to take some sort of shape. So the details that I'm working on here, so these lines, when you're laying down these like bigger creases to your model, not only are you negotiating like smooth surfaces and you're trying to break up the surface just for the reason of breaking up surface with bumps and creases. It's like you need to during the modeling, you need to be able to see a couple steps further. So, oh my god, sorry. So this this crease here, like I'm going to illustrate right now. So this crease here, and then you got this shape like here below. This not only can like appear on a model like just a crease, it also, what it does, it's creating some sort of natural boundaries on this living organism, where you can sort of where you can like create these, you can use these boundaries for introducing different color over the surface, and different like structural values. So this could be soft tissue, maybe. This can be a keratinose type of hard tissue. Then we've got like maybe this here can be soft tissue, but differently colored soft tissue. And so, and then again, this can be like this color, and you can work for having these sharp and sudden transitions, or you can maybe try and make smooth transitions from one type of tissue to another type of tissue, and one type of color of the same tissue to another type of, so like this. Okay, so again select this one, and so now we have our So I use these colors just to, help illustrate the thing better. While there is no, no proof of how some of these guys might have been colored, so it's really just using your better judgment and having a good taste in color and understanding how one color works with another color and in what type of combinations colors occur in living organisms in nature, like be it from birds to amphibians to lizards, reptiles, and all these creatures. And literally everything can be applied to your model. It's just you need to make sure to make it so that it works. So I could basically use these colors for my final model, and if I'd be like if I'd spent like I don't know how many time to tweak and make this color work, we could make it to be like to not be like to not appear stupid or something, or improbable. Just make it look good. So just me illustrating some concepts, some things regarding modeling and dividing surfaces on your model, and what that means from my own perspective. And, alright, so I'm going to remove. Okay, to increase the RGB like that. Okay, this is much better. So this area is still sort of giving me headaches, in a sense. I'm still not decided on. Still not conveyed that this this is the way to go. I just realized my pressure sensitivity got screwed again when I saved the file. I'll just have to quickly restart ZBrush. I hate it. I hate when it happens. Oh. just realized I had my mic muted because I had a phone call and anyways. And then ZBrush sort of went crazy. Now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm importing texture alphas that I'll try and use for our dinosaur here. Alright, so sorry. Let me take track brush and let's change alpha to this. Hold on. Yeah, let's do this. So I'm trying to get some sort of skin detail that isn't comprised of scales. Instead, I said something a bit different. So that's why it might appear I'm spinning in circles a little bit, not getting anywhere particular. Alright, that's not good. Too much. Let's take inflate brush and try and inflate this. Still don't like it. Let me try and let me try and make the roll distance a little bit bigger. It's like if you'd ask me like, what are you trying to do, dude? And I would like answer the answer would probably be like something like, maybe, I'm going to tell you what I'm trying to do when I see it. So this is I'm sort of in that phase at the moment. Alright, so this is a little bit better. I'm not sure. I mean, so I'm trying to get this soft tissue thing to remind somewhat of you know, those crests and things that, you know, modern bird sport. But it appears that we still need to subdivide our model a little bit more. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to reload this model. I'm going to divide it a little bit more. And hopefully we'll be... Alright, so this is it. We're doing the divide via Geometry HD. I'm not going to do it or, you know, the classical way, because I would end up with, what do we count now? We have, what is this? Almost 13 million polygons. So if I would divide my model classically via geometry divide, I would have ended up with what would that be? Okay, so 26, 50 million polygons, and my computer would struggle with that. So you know, I need to keep it at the manageable rate, and this is something, you know, between 10 and 20 million polygons for my computer. And you know, whatever extra polygons you need, you should go via Divide HD and you know, do it that way to keep your computer, you know, operable and not, you know, having to struggle too much with extra polygons. I'm sorry guys, needed a drink. Okay. Alright, so we divided this thing, and now I'm going to cover up the rest of the... Basically what I'm going to do is leave the area that I want to work on. So, and then, you know, you go with your pointer over the model and press key A. So it's A on your keyboard. And this is what brings up the, you know, additional polygons for working within HD feature. And so this, the transparent dark bits, they are left out from, you know, subdivision, and the bit that we left like visible, it got subdivided to whatever 7 million polygons. So just 7.5 million polygons for just, you know, the skull. And you can see, I'm not sure if you can see via stream that my computer is having trouble, a little bit of trouble. And this is also because I'm running this stream software on the side. So these are all this processes that are, you know, taking a toll on my CPU. But never mind, let it struggle. Let it sweat for a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to try and mask off this area that I'd like to try and experiment with that texture. And we'll see how that works. I just want to Google swan images for a sec. Let me see. So swan, search tool size. Let's go for extra big. Swan face. Alright. Now, alright, so this might be a good candidate for like close-up of the skin. And you know, the beak area. So let's see this fellow here. Again, I was talking about this before, and I cannot stress it enough. It's like working off of references is, you know, something like we all, me included. But you know, it's easy to forget. But we need to, you know, learn how to work off of references. And yeah. All right, so this is one thing that I sort of forgot about Swan, and I'm not sure what's the case. Like, is this piece of darker like structure here over the nostril, is this like soft tissue, or is this, you know, hard keratinose tissue as well? This is something that I'm not sure. It's hard for me to, you know, understand it just by looking at this picture. Because if it's soft tissue, this would, you know, this would be interesting, and it would like it would provide me with some interesting, you know, solutions for some other dinosaurs. And one other thing that I was looking at, and that I'm trying to maybe introduce to my dinosaur, to the upper part of Therizinosaurus, is this. If you can see this, like these pores, this structure here, skin texture. This is what I'm trying to sort of get to, you know, to my guy. Okay, so this looks like taxidermy, like not real animal, but you know, that one. We don't want that. Ah, this looks to be a beautiful. Look. Oh my God, I love it. Just gorgeous. Yeah, this seems to be from this photo, this seems to be hard tissue here, like keratinose tissue. But these guys are just stunning. Look at it. Alright, so I'm going to save these images for later. Alright, not in dinosaurs, and this one as well. Come on. Let me see this one. This one's pretty as well. Like, this one shows these larger creases a little bit better, and it's a little bit like dirtier. And look at this eye. This eye looks magnificent. Look at this. Just beautiful. Yep. All right. So it's like, you know, keep calm and use reference. That's it. This one's pretty as well. I'm going to keep this one as well to look at. Alright. Let's try and do something with this. I did not want to do that. Okay, so let me just quickly mask off this area here. Inflate. So, as I said, I'm trying to do something you know, different, a little bit different from what I usually do. Hopefully it'll work. it just, you know, it might just, you know, turn out to be a waste of time, which I'm really hoping it won't, but it can happen. It's not the end of the world. It's not bad. It's not. It doesn't mean like, you know, anything much. Just, you know, we tried something, didn't work out. All right, so let's try something else. And you know, I remember myself, like, you know, before when I was sort of starting, which happens to me like constantly. Like every now and again, I get stuck, you know, with some ideas and something, and I just cannot make it work and be happy with it, and you know, so it's nothing bad. And I remember I was before, when these things, you know, happened to me, I was a little bit more sort of desperate about it, but you know, if you do not do these things, if you're only, you know, walking the safe route, and you know, always doing things the easier way, and you know, the way you know it, and if you're always like that, it's just it's harder to make a progress, and it's harder to, you know, get better at things if you always keep it safe. So it's just, you know, like that. Sometimes you need to roll up your sleeves and roll your sleeves up, or whatever it's the saying, whatever the saying is. I'm sorry, I'm starting to sound like Yoda, like it's, you know, mixing like time, or whatever it's called, like tenses, or mixing the order of, you know, pronouncing things. Work in ZBrush, I must. Alright, but this is not like, this doesn't sound like Yoda. So soda, Jesus. So Yoda would say something like, check, I'm working on my Yoda voice. Sorry guys. Okay. Oh my god. The man of three voices. It's like movie preview guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Yoda. That's it. Oh Jesus. Work in ZBrush, I must. Something like that. Sorry. Oh. Sitting alone for prolonged periods, you know, working ZBrush can get a little funny. In ZBrush, I must work. Work I must in ZBrush. ZBrush. Yes. I sense much. Hold on. I need to figure out. I sense much struggle in you, young David Martin. Struggle leads to time. Time leads to... Oh, I lost it. I feel stupid. Alright. Okay, I'll better shut up and try and make this work. But I'll get better. I'm gonna write this joke down, and I'm going to tell it sooner or later. And I'm not going to look like a fool then. Alright. Let's get serious now. Serious we must get. Now, get must be serious. Yes. Oh, I'm doing it all wrong. So this represents a soft tissue sort of growth on the upper portion of Therizinosaurus head, and I'm still sort of working out the like main shapes, and alright, so this is our rack brush. Let's make it work. Alright, so let me pick this one up. Right. I think I like it. I think I do. And coupled with color, this could look pretty cool. Alright, so this is not, obviously this is not, this doesn't look like the thing that, the thing with the swan growth over the beak. And obviously we aren't aiming, at, reproducing something exact to look like, exactly like swan's thing. But to get something to to have some sort of similar feel to it, that's what my goal is, and hopefully it'll work. Just alright, this is bad. So I'm trying to get a good brush sensitivity and size scale. Alright, so let me turn off my symmetry. Nope. Let's start here. Better. Alright, so this is our Therizinosaurus upper portion of like head, or not sure. Okay, symmetry on. Let's smooth this thing a little bit up, because it's, if you like go a little bit closer, it's really coarse, and you can take a look at this. It's really coarse, and we don't want that. We want something like this, maybe. This is much better. So we want to smooth it out a little bit, not too much, hopefully. Just let me quickly turn off symmetry again. Alright. So I lost some details or some areas, so I'm going to try and reintroduce these things again over some areas. lost it here as well. Let me try all over again. Shoot. Alright, so let me see what I'm sorry. Excuse me. What can be done with deformation inflate? Whoops. No, 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 not so much. Come on. Alright, like one. Let's smooth it out a little bit. A little bit more. And a little bit more. So I think this could work. It might need a little bit more maybe loving. This bit here, I mean like the upper portion of the head. Alright. Alright, so this could work. Again, you'll have to see. I'm going to save this now as a head 4B, just in case if we want to go back so that we don't have to lose too much time. need to get myself a desk where I'll be able to stand and work, because this sitting, I don't know, I don't like sitting for I mean, I don't like sitting. I started not liking, you know, sitting for so long, and I'll need to get myself one of those desks that are, you know, adjustable, so when I get tired of sitting, I can stand up and lean against the desk and, you know, work from that position, which is a lot healthier, you know, way. Right, so I'm not going to spend too much time nibbling over this new surface that we've created, at least not just yet. I should, however, try and maybe introduce those pores, like tiny pores that are happening over these swans thing. So, you know, adding some of these like creases also adds another, you know, depth of like plausibility of this surface. So, you know, a well-placed crease can make a difference. Like one well-placed versus, you know, 100 creases that are like, you know, laying down across the model, like, you know, without reasoning or, you know, thought or planning. So you can have like your model covered with hundreds of creases, and they just, you know, they wouldn't make sense, and you can create, you know, 2, 3, or 10 well-placed creases, and they'll make a, you know, world of a difference. I like these, creating these random imperfections like this. Like small dents and cracks and you know, damaged skin. These are all things that can just, you know, make your model that much more believable and realistic, or, you know, whatever it is that you are, you know, chasing. Alright, so let's stop here and we'll mosquitoes, and I'll okay, just a sec, I need to check that swan image again. Hold on. So I'm just looking at the eye. So maybe it'll be good if I try and do this surface here the way I did it here. So this is Keratino's flaked beak, tiny flakes and imperfections. And this bit here will probably, well, I'm not sure right now, but I'll probably do some scale work here. Not sure. So we'll have like three types of surface on our dinosaur here. We'll have something sort of scaly, this soft growth, and the beak. Scales will come on the jaw as well. Alright. So let's take our track brush and just let me see what this does. Ooh, fancy. I think I need to disable my touch pressure sensitivity, size sensitivity, Z sensitivity. So, no, that's not it. Yeah, it's size sensitivity. Yeah, that's it. To I did this to prevent additional warping of scales when we apply, something like this. So I'm just trying to, I'm playing a little bit to see whether we can maybe speed up some of the process with this. I know it's lazy, yep, you can say it again. I'm against it, but sometimes I have to cheat as well. This? Oh no. Oh no, this one looks artificial. Artificial. I don't like it. More artificial scales. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful artificial scales. And these are not seamless. I think I have some seamless scales that I made. These are not. If you look at you know, these lines here, you'll notice like some sort of cut, which indicates that this is not a seamless alpha. Oh, which is not so good in this case. Gulp, gulp. Alright, just trying to find some alphas that I have. Nope. Yeah, it's so stretchy pulley. Also, we'll need to mask off this upper section when we start applying these scales for real. Yeah, I don't like the way these scales look. I'm afraid I'll have to do it manually. Okay. So what? Okay. Alright, so okay, so I deselected the alpha. So my track brush started acting weird. Yeah, so we are probably going to do it this way, a little bit slower way, but hopefully better way. You know, sometimes, well, from my experience, most of the times the faster way is not always, or mostly is not the better way. So, no, don't pull your stroke like that. We do not want our scales to cut through, you know, other scales. So generally something like this is to be avoided at all costs. These things like this. Alright, so let me just do some scale work. Yeah, alright. This is beautiful. This is bullshit. What you want to do is, you know, take a little bit of care and try and be a little bit more precise. It's like, you know, if your stroke gets away from you, you know, at places, it's okay. But if this is something that's happening, you know, like every other stroke, you have a lot of these scales that are being, you know, that are cutting through each other. Then it just stops, you know, being a carefully produced model. It begins to, you know, smell like a sloppy thing. good. So yeah. Alright, so let's just move away a little bit. And I started getting uniformity, and that's also one thing that we need to avoid. You know, getting these larger areas to look too uniformed, sort of like, you know, one scale size and evenly spread across the surface. It'll look artificial, so we need to, you know, try and make it as random as possible. So, and do not be afraid of, you know, creating like entire surface, covering it with scales, and it took you like, I don't know, half an hour or something, and then, you know, do not be afraid of you know, deleting all this work and starting over if you don't feel like it's particularly good, or something like that. So the way it looks now, I'm not too keen, not too happy about it, especially compared to this here. So we'll need to work on transitioning from, well, maybe not so much transitioning, we just need to work on getting this to look as consistent and as whatever, like this. Consistency can be a bitch sometimes, let me tell you that, guys. Sloppy. No, not that one. We'll do it over. Fly over, fly over. So to touch back on the subject of you know, standing versus sitting for, you know, prolonged periods of time at your desk. I'm also I mentioned this before. I'm also trying to make some mileage with, you know, running every other day, like every second day. I take a run, and I run for about 8 or 10 or 11 kilometers per run, and I do this because of, you know, all this sitting and stuff, and so that I don't, you know, just sort of to take care of my body in a way, because the sitting is like the worst enemy you can have for your body muscles, the bones, your heart, whatever, your major muscle. And so running is one of these things that I do to counter all this sitting. And so it's better to run than to, I don't know, eat pills and feel like third and be tired all the time and have problems with your back and all these things that come from prolonged periods of sitting. So this, if you are doing this, you might want to consider start doing it. You don't have to necessarily run. You can, ride your bicycle. You can walk. Walks are good as well. Take your dog for a walk. I take mine for a run. Basically, any type of activity where you're moving is pretty good, and at least an hour a day or more if you can afford. So, yeah. So I slap my headphones, in-ears, and I, turn up the music or some podcast, and I run for about an hour at a time. Sorry, I hit microphone with my hand. I'm sorry, guys, if that startled you. I have one of those gaming headphones with mic, and whenever I sort of want to scratch my face or nose or my whatever bit on my head, I sometimes forget with there's a mic in front of it, and I just clip it. I should probably try and get myself a standalone microphone that can be mounted on some sort of stand or on a desk or somewhere. Man, I don't like it. I don't like it. Shit. Shoot.
Rated PG-13.
Deformity. Oh, do I love you? Do I like you? Oh boy. Well, let's try it. Let me save this quickly. Head for C. So it's not B anymore, it's C. As if we'll see. So, like, when I'm looking at this makes sense, this here. This just doesn't. Let's try and smooth things a bit. Maybe it turns out better. Yeah, not so much. Not so much. So this type of scales obviously doesn't work pretty good with what we've got here. Alright. I'll have to resort to something else. Clay, 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 where are you? Clay tubes, there you are. Gosh. this is just a quick sort of sketch for myself to see how maybe some of these larger scales would feel on the surface. So this is still nothing final. Although sometimes these quickly lay down, like, you know, scales and quickly lay down 3D sketch type of approach produces, you know, good results, and some tweaking and polishing, and you know, it becomes like something that's, you know, good for even for final result. No, this is even worse. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig a little bit deeper for this one. Yeah, I just don't like the way. I don't like the way this looks. Boing, boing, boing. yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break from this a little bit. I'll do another 2 hours or maybe even more later in the day, towards the night or in a couple hours. Yeah, I'm just realizing that I'm spinning in circles and not being able to get something good with this. So I need a little bit of break, small break to refresh my eyes, refresh my thoughts, and I might be able to get something good faster or something like that. Anyways, guys, so this is it for the first part of stream number 13. I'll continue in a couple hours. Bye bye, and thanks for watching.